Imagine two people. The first drives a brand new BMW, wears designer clothes, and posts photos at expensive restaurants on Instagram. The second drives a 2018 Honda Civic, dresses simply, and rarely shows up on social media. Which one do you think is actually rich? If you picked the first person, you just fell into the biggest financial trap of the 21st century. And today, I'm going to show you why this choice might be keeping you broke. Hi, I'm Frankie, and today we're talking about a topic that could completely change your financial life. Do you want to be rich, or do you just want to look rich? This isn't just a philosophical question. It determines whether you'll build real wealth or spend your entire life chasing an illusion that only makes you poorer. Here's the shocking truth about America right now. The average American household owes over $105,000 in debt. That's a record high. Total household debt just hit $18.2 trillion in 2025. But here's what's even more disturbing. Credit card delinquency rates are now at levels we haven't seen since the 2008 recession. People are drowning in debt, and many of them are drowning because they're trying to look rich. They buy the most expensive car they can finance. They live in apartments that eat up more than half their income. They buy designer clothes on credit cards, all to maintain an image of success. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Looking rich is the fastest way to become poor for real. Let's look at the numbers. According to an April 2024 report from Investopedia, about 65% of Americans were living paycheck to paycheck. That means most people could not cover their bills if a paycheck was delayed. The issue isn't limited to low-income households. Even some who earn over $100,000 annually have little savings. Consumer debt has ballooned to $17.57 trillion. Mortgages, auto loans, and credit cards all increased between 2023 and 2024. And credit card debt alone grew by about 8.6%. Now, layer on the social pressure to appear successful. A LendingTree survey found that nearly 40% of Americans admit to overspending to impress someone else. More than a quarter of those overspenders have debt because of it. And younger generations feel this pressure most. Over 70% of those who overspent said they regret their purchases. To illustrate the difference between looking rich and being rich, let me tell you about two doctors. We'll call them Dr. Appearance and Dr. Silence. Dr. Appearance graduated medical school and immediately started earning good money. First thing he did was to buy a BMW financed over 72 months. Then came the luxury apartment, also financed. Designer clothes, a Rolex watch, dinners at expensive restaurants. After all, he was a doctor. He needed to maintain his status. Dr. Silence graduated around the same time, but he made different choices. He bought a reliable used car with cash. He lived in a simple but well-located apartment, and every dollar he saved, he invested. 15 years later, Dr. Appearance is still paying off loans. His BMW is old now, but he can't afford to replace it because he's drowning in debt. He works like crazy but can't stop because he needs to maintain his lifestyle. Dr. Silence has a net worth of over $2 million. He could stop working tomorrow and live off his investments. But here's the interesting part. Nobody would guess he's rich just by looking at him. That's the difference between being rich and looking rich. This story isn't unusual. It's actually the norm. Researchers have studied thousands of millionaires, and what they found will shock you. The largest study ever conducted on millionaires surveyed over 10,000 wealthy Americans. Here's what they discovered. 79% of millionaires received absolutely no inheritance from their families. Only 3% received an inheritance of $1 million or more. Most millionaires, 8 out of 10, actually came from families at or below middle income level. Here's another surprise. Only 31% of millionaires averaged $100,000 per year over their careers. 1/3 never made six figures in any single year of their working life. So how did they become millionaires? 93% said they got wealthy through hard work, not big salaries. And 75% said regular, consistent investing over a long period was the key to their success. But here's the most important part. 94% of millionaires live on less than they make. Nearly 3/4 have never carried a credit card balance in their lives. They spend $200 or less per month at restaurants, and 93% use coupons when they shop. The real millionaires don't look like what you see on social media. They drive used cars, live in modest homes, and dress simply. They discovered that true wealth isn't about what you show others. It's about the freedom you build for yourself. So why do so many people choose to look rich instead of being rich? It's psychology. We live in a culture of showing off. Social media makes it worse. When you see someone displaying luxury, it triggers something in your brain. You want the same thing, so you do crazy things to get it. You finance a car you can't afford. You buy clothes on credit cards. You go to expensive restaurants and then have no money left to invest. You get trapped in a cycle. You work to pay last month's bills, and nothing is left to build real wealth. And here's the worst part. Often, the person showing off is also in debt. They're pretending to be rich to impress other people who are also pretending to be rich. It's a theater where everyone is acting, but nobody is actually wealthy. Here's something important to understand. Luxury items don't have moral value. A house, education, healthcare. These have moral value. But a luxury car or an expensive watch, that's just pleasure. When you prioritize pleasure over building wealth, You're choosing to look rich instead of being rich. Real wealth answers this question. If I stopped working today, how long could I maintain my lifestyle? If the answer is less than 6 months, you're not rich. You're dependent on your paycheck. If the answer is a few years, you're on the right track. If the answer is forever, congratulations. You're truly wealthy. So how do you build real wealth? How do you escape the cycle of appearances and start being rich for real? Step 1. Live below your means. This doesn't mean living poorly. It means being smart with money. Buy the car you need, not the car you want to impress others. Live in the house that fits your budget, not the house that will leave you broke. Step 2. Invest the difference. Every dollar you save by living below your means should be invested. Stocks, index funds, real estate investment trusts. The important thing is that your money works for you. Step 3. Be patient. Real wealth doesn't happen overnight. It builds over years through consistent, smart decisions. Step 4. Stay quiet about it. Don't tell everyone how much you have invested. Silent wealth is powerful because it's silent. It gives you freedom without exposing you to envy or social pressure. Let me give you some real examples. Instead of buying an $80,000 car with financing, buy a $40,000 car with cash. Invest the other $40,000. In 10 years, that $40,000 could become $100,000 or more. Instead of living in an apartment that costs 50% of your income, live in one that costs 30%. Invest the other 20%. In 20 years, you could have enough wealth to buy your dream apartment with cash. Instead of spending $500 per month on designer clothes, spend $200 on good quality clothes without the brand names. Invest the other $300. In 15 years, you could have over $100,000 just from this one change. The difference is this. While the person who chose to look rich is paying off loans and living paycheck to paycheck, you're building real financial freedom. Right now in America, we're seeing record levels of debt. The average credit card balance is $6,580. Auto loan delinquencies are rising. People are struggling financially, but many are struggling because they're trying to maintain an image. Meanwhile, America added 562,000 new millionaires in 2024. These new millionaires didn't win the lottery. They didn't inherit money. They built wealth the old-fashioned way, through consistent investing, smart spending, and living below their means. Here's the beautiful thing about real wealth. When you actually become rich, you can choose to show off or not. But most truly wealthy people choose not to. They discovered that real wealth isn't about impressing others. It's about the freedom and peace of mind that money can provide. So what's your choice going to be? Do you want to be rich or look rich? If you choose to be truly wealthy, start today. Look at your spending. Find where you're spending money to impress others. Cut those expenses. Invest that money instead. Be patient, be consistent, and most importantly, be quiet about your journey. Let your results speak for you. Remember, the person driving the simplest car might be the richest person in the room, and the person showing off might be one paycheck away from financial disaster. True wealth doesn't make noise. It builds freedom. If this video made you think differently about your financial choices, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Share this with someone who needs to hear this message. And tell me in the comments, do you want to be rich or look rich? Your answer could change your financial life forever.